If you've clicked on this video, then I'm guessing your goal right now is to find something that will make you achieve happiness. And I'm going to give that to you. I'm going to offer that to you right now. So one of the few things that I've realized affect your happiness a ton is past experiences. Past experiences can hold you back as well as boost you forward a ton, but that all depends on how you decide to view that past experience. What's funny is there's a quote that I've heard from someone before, basically goes like this: what actually harms you isn't the thing that actually happened, it's the effect of the thing that happened. So it's the way you perceive that situation. That something happened and that effect was the way you perceived it. And that way you perceive that situation is the actual cause of all the pain or all the happiness or all whatever. For example, if you've had a past experience of you being in class and the teacher called you up to present something, then while you were presenting something happened and you weren't able to present at all, and everybody just laughed at you. For example, that event will be stuck in your mind. If you decide to play that off as something that was just funny or play that off as a learning experience. For example, when you went up, you had no script, so you just screwed up everything. You weren't able to talk, and everybody just laughed at you. If you realize that and take that as a learning experience, you would benefit from it and you would just completely ignore it. Because the only way you can benefit from negative past experiences is by learning from them and continuing to grow from them, then completely forgetting them. If you have that negative past experience in your mind and that negative past experience is stuck there, it'll just make you more negative throughout your entire life. Because one, you'll be stressed to speak in public because you'd feel like you'd get embarrassed again, and that's something that just be there. And it will just ruin the rest of your life. So you have to put things behind you. It will ruin every single time you try to speak publicly. It will just be there. That stress will just be there. And you'll keep thinking about that negative past experience. However, if you've had a negative past experience and again you've decided to view it as something positive and learn from it, you just benefit throughout your life. You'd learn that next time you go to a public speaking and you start speaking, you'd have a script. That's something that you learned. Before I continue, I have a community called Social Media of Positivity. If you really want to take happiness seriously, the link is in the description. I've literally made that $1 just for you. So, back to the video. So I've realized that you could also have positive past experiences. And the way you can benefit from those positive past experiences is by always looking back on them. Is by always looking back to those experiences whenever you feel like you're negative or you're falling into a negative loop. For example, if you've like a long time ago, you spoken in class again, the teacher called you up to speak, but you were able to present really, really good, and you got an award for the best presenter in class, for example. The next time you go to speak publicly, always have that image in your mind. I was someone who was able to speak publicly well. So next time you speak, you realize that, oh yeah, you have the confidence of someone who's able to speak publicly well, because now that's the image that you have of yourself. The image that you have of yourself is now built upon someone who's able to speak publicly. So you'll be able to speak publicly. That's simply how it works. Now there's something in your mind called the success mechanism, and I'll just explain briefly how this works. You know how there's a part of your mind that thinks consciously and a part that thinks subconsciously? Like most of the time in your day, you're thinking subconsciously. You're not even focusing on something specific that you want to think about. It's just your mind is just wandering about a ton of things. But there's just a bit of time where maybe you're studying, maybe you're playing a video game, maybe you're talking to a friend about a deep topic, so that time, at that point, your mind is conscious. You're in that conscious state of mind where you're thinking about everything. Now, how the success mechanism works is it takes things from the subconscious mind, the time when your mind is wandering, and it sets those things as goals. And the unconscious mind takes the things from the conscious mind. It's kind of like a weird path. It's conscious mind, subconscious mind, success mechanism. It's pretty difficult, but just understand it with me. So if you think about something consciously, if you think about building a business and you think about failing, you think, for example, you think about trying to build a business and you try it for 5 years and it fails. That's the image that you have in your mind. Subconsciously, you're going to have images that keep having that idea. Like they're not necessarily the same image, but they're images that have a really similar idea of you failing. And then the success mechanism takes those images from your mind, from your subconscious mind, and sets them as goals. So you unconsciously start doing things that will make you lose. It becomes a failure mechanism instead of a success mechanism. However, if you were looking at that business and you're telling yourself, oh, I'm going to be successful, then you'll keep having images of yourself becoming successful. So unconsciously, again, your success mechanism will take those things and it will stay as a success mechanism instead of a failure mechanism. Get my point? And you'll start working towards that successful thing. As soon as you do that, you're completely removing all of the sadness from your life, because now you've given yourself a positive goal to work towards. You've given yourself a goal that will actually benefit you. So those sad past experiences can hold you back as well as boost you. It all depends on the way you decide to perceive those situations. If you decide to tell yourself that, oh yeah, I'm going to use the situation as a learning thing, and then forget it, you're learning. But however, if you decide to use it as something that you always fall back on, always stress about whenever you're re-entering that same scenario again, you'll just be negative throughout that entire scenario, and you'll always be stressed. So again, always remember, the things can hold you back, but the thing that actually affects you the most is the way you decide to perceive a certain situation in life. That's why there's always two options to perceive a situation. Either way to perceive it positively or negatively. And that all depends on you. It's in any situation that you have. If you decide to perceive it negatively, you'll be negative throughout your day. And if you decide to perceive it positively, vice versa. Again, everything depends on the way you perceive a situation. Take this to heart. Because when you realize that it's all you, and whether happiness or sadness comes to you, it's all because of you. Again, nothing changes. The world doesn't change. Happiness won't come to you when you achieve something. It'll stay there. If you're someone who's really successful but he doesn't feel like he's successful, you'll still stay sad. If you're someone who becomes the biggest, most successful person on earth, but you wanted to have, for example, $1 quintillion, but you didn't achieve that, you still wouldn't be happy because you aren't fulfilled with the current state you're in. So it all depends on the way you decide to perceive a situation. Are you grateful for what you've achieved? Are you happy because you've achieved it? Are you fulfilled with what you've achieved? Then you can actually tell yourself, are you happy or are you sad? It all depends on that. If you like this type of content and want to see more of it, I have a community called Social Media of Positivity. I've put the link for it in the description of this video as well as in my bio. I've literally made it just $1 for the first 2 people who join because I believe it. Then I can learn from those people and I can make the community better overall. If you want to check it out, again, it's in the description. Always remember, it all depends on the way you perceive a situation. Whether your emotional state is sad, happy, negative, positive, it all depends on you. So you can change that. Happiness doesn't come to you, it comes through actions. Just like any other thing that a human can possibly do. I'll see you in the next video.